Hello everyone, my name is Naz and I welcome to you in my channel Naz Parshala. So today I'm going to take one more interesting story, and through this English story you will learn tenses, vocabulary, pronunciation and how to do perfect reading. So without Chapter 5 The Ever Angry Joe. Meg and Joe were getting ready to go to the theatre with Laurie, who had invited them. Amy, who had gone upstairs to talk to them about something, saw them all dressed up and asked, "You didn't tell me that you two were going somewhere? But where are you going?" Joe got irritated and replied, "It is not necessary to tell you everything." But Amy didn't stop. "Don't hide things from me. I already know that you are going with Laurie to the theatre. But I also want to go. Please take me also with you." Now Joe was really frustrated. "Amy, you can't go as you are not invited. And if you will go, then I won't." Amy still pressed Meg and Joe for taking her along, but no avail. Joe refused again, and then Amy warned Joe, "Okay, if you don't want to take me with you, then don't. But I won't forget it, and you are going to be sorry sooner or later." Saying this, she ran upstairs. Joe and Meg didn't pay much attention to it and went ahead with their plan. But in her mind, Jo was telling herself to keep a check on her temper. She had a great time, and when they came back home, Jo tried to look around for Amy. Jo suspected that Amy would have done something mischievous to take revenge of what happened during the day. She found Amy reading in the parlor and kept looking here and there if any traps had been laid out for her. But everything looked fine to her. Next day, she was unable to find her diary. And then it came to her mind that Amy must have hidden it somewhere. Red with anger, she went up to Amy, who was happily humming a song. "Where is my diary?" Jo questioned. "How would I know? You must have kept it somewhere." Amy answered. Jo shouted, "This is not a joke, Amy. Tell me. I know it's with you. And you are not telling me." Amy again refused, and then Jo lost her all control and took Amy by the shoulders, shaking her to draw an answer. Then finally, Amy confessed, "Yes, it was with me, but now it's gone. I have burnt it." Joe's heart sank hearing this. "Are you telling me the truth, Amy? Have you really burnt my book?" Amy again affirmed. "Yes, Joe, I did it. As you didn't take me with you, now it's your turn to suffer." Joe turned pale, started crying, accused Amy, and went out to the room. Joe was heartbroken to find her most valuable things gone to the fire and turned into essays. She used to write stories, incidents, and other things in it, and Amy had just thrown it into the fire, destroying her work of many years. Then Amy and Joe came at the table for tea. Amy asked Joe to forgive her, but Joe was furious and avoided her. Amy also was repenting for her wrongdoing and was intimidated by her sister's angry looks. It was hard for Jo to forget this incident in a day. So she tried to divert her mind and planned to ask Laurie for skating the next day. She knew that if she would stay in the house, she wouldn't be able to forget Amy's doing. And Laurie was the one who could cheer her up. Jo went for skating the next day, and Amy, on seeing her go out with skates in her hand, decided to follow her. The skating ground was not far, and when Emmy reached the place, Joe and Laurie were already skating. Laurie went to taste the ice, and Joe turned around and finding Emmy behind her, ignored her. Laurie came back, telling them not to go in the center, but to only skate near the shore. Emmy was busy trying to balance herself and didn't pay attention to the warning. Laurie and John kept to the shore only, but Emmy skated towards the center. Then Joe heard a loud noise of a crack in the surface of the ground. She turned around, finding Emmy struggling on the cracked surface and then crashing through the ice. Now she was gasping for breath and she turned pale due to the ice cold water around her. Joe was terrified and shouted, asking Laurie to help her get Emmy out of the water. Laurie came running to her and asked to get a rail for getting Emmy out. Joe rushed towards the fence to grab a rail, and in the meantime, Laurie held Emmy's hand, trying to keep her afloat. They used the rail to drag Emmy out of the cold water. And when Emmy came out of, she was all wet, shivering from head to toe, and started crying. Then all of a sudden, she started feeling too weak to stand on her feet. Laurie took off his coat, put it around her, and Joe and he together took her home. All the sisters helped her change into dry clothes and a fire was lit for her to make her warm. Then she finally went off to sleep. Joe was completely shaken up by this nightmarish incident. She couldn't say a word, was gloomy all day long. When she couldn't take it any longer, she went up to her mother and confessed, "You can blame me for all that happened. It's only because of my short temperament that Amy had to go through all this. I am happy to know that at least you have learned from your mistakes. I hope something like this would never happen." Mrs. Marr said. Joe was also relieved to hear that her mother had forgiven her and she hugged her. Amy, who was sleeping, then woke up and the sisters made amends by hugging and kissing each other. For watching. If you like my videos, please hit the bell icon for more updating videos. Like, share, comment and subscribe my channel Nas Parshala. Thank you, take care and be safe at home.